Hello and welcome to TOI Auto. I'd like you to meet the next of kin of the Bajaj Pulsar 150, the new Pulsar P150. But this is simply not an upgrade of the current generation Pulsar 150. This is meant to be a new motorcycle with a new look, new engine and chassis. Let's find out more. So I just said that this motorcycle looks new, and it surely does. It doesn't look like the Pulsar 150 that we're used to seeing. This, however, looks more like the N160 or even the N250 with these sharper, sportier body panels, and it also has a projector headlamp. However, the headlamp casing differentiates it from the N family. Another design feature akin to the N160 is the underbelly exhaust, but that also means that the swing arm is fully exposed. But unlike the N160 and the elder brother, this does have a kickstart because this is more oriented towards being a commuter. And we just spoke about the exhaust, so let's listen to it as well. So this is powered by a new 150cc engine, which is based on the N160 engine but with a smaller bore, which means you get 14 horsepower and 13.5 Newton meters of torque. The engine is paired with a 5-speed transmission. So Bajaj say that this is the smoothest Pulsar so far, and they're not lying. In the low and the mid-range of the RPM, NVH is just not a concern on this bike. It's when you're sitting at 80 kmph and you push beyond, some vibrations do kick in that you feel through the foot pegs and the handlebar. Speaking of sitting at 80 kmph, this is a quick little motorcycle. However, it does feel like it begins to struggle somewhere around 90 kmph and beyond. The P150, however, will deliver a top speed of about 110 kilometers an hour. Speaking of speeds, here's the P150 doing 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. The transmission is as smooth as you'd expect it to be. There's no trouble finding neutral, but yes, there were a few instances when it felt a little clunky and confused. The gearbox leads us to the clutch lever, and the pull on the lever is definitely really soft, which is a green flag for, say, bumper-to-bumper traffic. However, the clutch action is such that when you release it, it engages really far beyond than you expect it to. So that was about how fast the bike goes. Now let's talk about how safely it does it. So it gets a 260mm disc at the front and a 230 at the rear. You can also go for a single disc version, which will give you a drum brake at the rear, but then it's always advisable to get the twin disc version. Braking, I would say, is perfectly appropriate for performance like this. The suspension setup, which is forks at the front and a monoshock at the rear, which is a change from the current Pulsar 150, which gets twin shocks at the rear. Well, the setup is not too firm and not too soft either. The setup works rather really well on good roads, bad roads, potholes, you name it. About how the bike handles, well, that's where the P150 is tremendously different from the previous generation. It feels very light at only about 140 kilograms, a change in weight that comes from the new chassis and the new engine, and it now has aluminium foot pegs. All these changes have brought about a change of about 10 kilograms compared to the older generation of the Pulsar 150. What has all this done? Well, it feels really light on the handlebar. It's easy to pull in out of parking. It's easy to handle when you're in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Plus, it also remains rather planted on speeds of about 70 to 80 kmph as well. Now let's talk about the features on board the P150. So you get the usual, the speedo, the tacho, there's also a rev limiter, there are 2 trip meters in odo. The good thing here that we saw is the DTE, that is your distance to empty. How much fuel do you have? How much range do you have? The motorcycle I have right now has 380 kilometers before it's empty. Another convenience feature on board is a USB port right under the instrument cluster. Plus, the pass button is a very convenient toggle on the index finger. So what do we think about the P150? Okay, so with this bike, the Pulsar 150 is now in line with the modern Bajaj motorcycles. It has a strong mid-range performance. Even in the far lower end of the RPM range, you could be doing 30 kmph and in the 5th gear and continue from there, and there are absolutely no complaints from the bike, and it will not keep asking for a lot of downshifts either. So that's very comfortable if you're the kind who is either lazy or don't care about that and just pick up a motorcycle in higher gears. You'll be really comfortable on this bike. It does not ask for a lot, it does not complain a lot. The P150 makes the Pulsar 150 a modern looking motorcycle, and the engine refinement is now far better. It now has features on board like the USB port and the distance to empty as well, which is really neat. Sure, there's the N160 that you could think about, or the NS160. But if you're looking for sensible commutes on a sporty looking motorcycle, that's mainly what your objective is. You perhaps don't have to look any further than what the P150 has to offer, because it is quite a complete package on those terms. If you like the video, hit like and do consider to subscribe for anything and everything auto. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.